Hello, everyone. It's Luke with Lukewarm Take, episode 3. This is my second time trying to record this episode because the first time I had a little bit of technical difficulties. That's why it's coming out so much later than normal. And I just want to get right into it. We're doing something a little different today. We're going to be doing a preview for the NFL Combine that starts Thursday, which it should be Thursday when y'all are listening to this. I'm recording this at 10:05 p.m. Central Time. And so the format of this is I'm just going to have players that are that could be high risers from the combine. Everybody here is not first round guys that could elevate to first round guys. The only position groups that are not like French guys are the running backs because it's a weak running back class. And then I realized whenever I finished the list, I forgot to do linebackers, but this is a weak linebacker class, well, inside linebacker. And so I really don't care enough to go look at more film for linebackers because there's only two guys that are starter caliber this year in the and this draft class, I think. So, and other than that, let's just go straight into it. I'm going to start with the quarterbacks. And first one I got up is Tulane's Michael Pratt, which I'm a little biased, Tulane guy, but I have a ceiling for him as a light Josh Allen. He's just great at excelling in the run. His entire success at Tulane was through being a run first offense with zone concepts, and they ran RPOs out of zone concepts, and he excelled in the short intermediate throws off slants and stuff like that. But his key weapon as a quarterback was his legs. He used his legs the same way as Josh Allen runs, and so he's powerful. He's going to make guys miss by breaking tackles and stuff like that. So I would say he's a big-time red zone weapon, but he's going to make the throws that you want him to make as a game manager. So, I want to see, how he tests, accuracy-wise and strength-wise with his throws and just see if he could rise. Because right now I have him mocked as a early day 3 guy, late day 2 guy, but he could elevate into a mid to early day 2 guy if he can show out that arm strength. Other than that, so let's keep going. We're going to go straight into Joe Milton out of Tennessee. I have his ceiling as a project RG3. I'm getting a little off topic, but if you see me look over, I have notes. I have 3 pages of notes that I took. So I'm going to read off of those. I'll move them more to here. So, anyway, he can make plays with his legs, which I thought that was a very underrated part of this game. Because when I heard of Joe Milton, I heard about that he's got a crazy cannon. But whenever I watched this film, I saw more of just him making guys miss in the open field, just like how RG3 was in college. But he's got a more stronger arm. He's super inaccurate at short to intermediate throws, but his arm strength is going to impress some guys. You could have some casual guys end up putting him in the late first round for some reason, because that's what they did for Will Levis because he had his crazy arm. But anyways, yeah, I have his ceiling as a project RG3. I don't think he's going to be a long-term starter anywhere, but he could end up becoming a solid backup or a game manager for a bridge guy. But other than that, the last quarterback I want to talk about is Spencer Rattler out of South Carolina, who famously got benched for the first overall pick, more than likely, Caleb Williams out of Oklahoma. While they were both at Oklahoma, they both ended up transferring to USC. Rattler went to Southern Carolina, not Southern California. But other than that, I have Rattler. I've always thought of Rattler as a Kyler Murray type guy. He's 6'1" instead of Kyler Murray being 5'11". But he's got a great arm talent. When I watch his throws, they look like art. But he has poor decision making, and he makes the difficult throws look easy, but he can't make an easy throw. Like when I watched his tape against Georgia, and he couldn't make a screen pass to save his life. Just they threw swing passes the entire game, but he had some crazy throws that were like 40-yard bombs that ended up being touchdowns, but he couldn't complete a simple swing pass. So, but I'm really interested to see how he tests in the 40 because I really can't tell from game film like how fast he really is. But he could have some breakaway speed and end up I could end up increasing his draft stock. I have him mocked right now as a mid day 2 guy. He could fall to a day 3 guy, or he could rise to a high day 2 guy. Because see, all these guys could be day 2. Milton's probably more of a day 3 dude. He's probably 6th round maybe. But other than that, I just want to move on now to the running backs, which the running backs, you don't hear much about this class for running backs wise, because it's not like, oh my, we have Saquon Barkley, like, oh my, we have Christian McCaffrey. There's no Heisman winners. I mean, Blake Corum was a Heisman finalist last year in 2022, but we'll get into him later. But first off, my favorite running back that I watched was Braylon Allen out of Wisconsin. Like, when I saw him, like the first time I watched tape of him yesterday, I said, oh my, this is Saquon Barkley, but light. So he's the same size as big. Saquon Barkley's big dude. He's crazy elusiveness. But like the key thing that I loved with him was his pass protection, which that's a very like valuable thing now with this type of offense that's evolving in the NFL. And most people aren't really thinking about that when they're thinking about drafting a guy, which if you're having just like insane pressure from guys like Khalil Mack or Nick Bosa or guys like that, you want to have some running back that could help chip off the line. He does a great job chipping. He does a great job cutting and all that good stuff. Can post out. Looks like a tight end out there at running back. But anyway, I love Braylon Allen. He looks a lot like Saquon Barkley without like the hype. He's not going to be as good as Saquon Barkley, but he has potential to be a Pro Bowl guy. And the next guy is Blake Corum, and I have his ceiling as Darren Sproles, short guy, super skinny. I have injury concerns for him. He got hurt in college. That's why Michigan didn't beat TCU, I believe, last year in the playoffs, because Blake Corum was not there. They had Brian Edwards. But he's lightning quick, great pass catcher, and I believe he could prove doubters wrong if he tests out with an elite 40 time, if he tests out with a great strength number, if he tests with like great pass catching with the 3 cones, stuff like that. And I would say he has the most hype right now coming out of running backs for this draft class, because he's the most like established guy. He won a national championship, Heisman finalist, all that good stuff. But next running back after that, I have Trey Benson out of Florida State, and my ceiling for him is Alvin Kamara. Yes, all these guys that I have ceilings for them are Alvin Kamara, are like elite running backs at their primes, but it's fine. Well, all of these ceilings are like elite guys, because everybody has potential to be an elite guy. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked again. But Trey Benson of Florida State, pass catcher. That's all I can say is breakaway speed in open space is insane. He can't move side to side. He can only move forward. So you're not going to see him cut gaps. He can't cut gaps to save his life. He can't run outside. He can only run from hash mark to hash mark. He can't run sideline to sideline, which sometimes that's all you need in a running back. But he has great hands, and if you have him like on a little like swing pass, he can just take that for 30 yards. He can have him on an angle route, out route, stuff like that. He can take it for 25 yards if you need him to. And then the last running back I have is Will Shipley out of Clemson. And I was not really familiar with this dude's game, but I was like, oh my god, this looks like Le'Veon Bell. He's so patient. He is not fast at all. White guy, but not fast. Um, but the way he cut into gaps, um, it just reminded me of Le'Veon Bell a lot. And not a lot of people are talking about him. I don't really know how people have mocked. I would assume day 3 pick, day 2, late day 2. The only guys that I would say are going to be a day 2 pick is Braylon Allen and Trey Benson. Blake Corum's probably a late day 2 guy. I've heard most people have Trey Benson as their RB1 and then Corum as their RB2. But I don't really know about that. I don't really know. I would like to see the combine first before I start ranking guys. I'm going to do a mock draft eventually when it gets closer to draft time. But anyway, I liked Will Shipley. He could be a great supporting number 2 back. Just as a third down, and get you a good 4 yards, first down, keep the drive going, bring in your first guy again. All right, going into receivers, we're going to start off with Javon Baker out of UCF. I have his ceiling as Marquise Brown. His first step, when I watched him play, elite first step. He's super fast, but he's slim, just like Marquise Brown. He's tall and slim. So I would say injury concerns are a big deal with him, just like Marquise Brown. But he's got the burners. Just be fearful of him if you see him lined up, because he has that potential. He has that big play potential. And I wasn't very familiar with this guy until I saw him. Like, I saw CBS mocked him as the top 3 receiver for some reason. I didn't have him mocked in the first round. I had him maybe third round. So I was like, I want to see this guy play a little bit more. I watched and I wasn't that impressed as like a first round guy because this is elite wide receiver class. There's one guy in this list that I love that he's not getting enough credit for. I think he could be potentially like the best receiver out of this class besides Marvin Harrison Jr. But yeah, he's got injury concerns. He's slender, but if he could get in the right system where he doesn't have to worry about taking the big hits, he'll be a good like street guy basically. But any of that, next receiver I got is Luke McCaffrey out of Rice, and that is obviously Christian McCaffrey's brother. And I have his ceiling as an AJ Green type guy. He's pretty tall. I think he's 6'3", but every time I watched him play live, I watched Rice a lot for some reason. He just had incredible like circus catches. He's got soft hands. He's not great on the release off the line, but he does not have breakaway speed. But as a red zone threat, just jump ball him, and he probably come down with it. And next on the list we have Brendan Rice, Jerry Rice's son out of USC, and I have his ceiling as a Tyler Boyd type guy. He doesn't have great release off the line, but he has speed to like replace that, and he's got great ball skills. I see him as like a great second option on a contending team. Not a guy you'd want to spend a first round pick on, but like a third round pick, I'd run to the podium to go pick Brendan Rice, and he's also Jerry Rice's son. So why would you not want to have Jerry Rice's son on your team? But I believe that's like a fair mock is Tyler Boyd as a ceiling, like just a dependable hands guy. And yeah, he's fast. So like he could turn 30 yard, he could turn like a 5-yard play into a 40-yard play if you need him to. Next player I got is also out of Tulane. Got Jaquan Jackson, and I have the ceiling as a Julian Edelman. And I have his ceiling as a Julian Edelman type guy. He's a plug and play slot. He's fast. He can fit in any offense. I think he's got questionable hands. He's going to drop a couple of balls a game, but he has breakaway speed, and he's just a great punt returner. I've seen him make incredible plays at punt return at Tulane, and I think he's a very underrated guy. He could rise a lot with some speed on the 40, and if he could perform pretty well with like a catching drill. I think he could have his draft stock increase a lot. Then go flip the page. Got Jalen Polk out of Washington. I have his ceiling as Antonio Brown light. That might be a little bit unfair to compare him to an Antonio Brown, but he's got the softest hands in this draft, I'd say. He's very shifty. If he can develop well, he could be a great complementary second receiver, or just a reliable top guy on a team like a mid-range team. He's a great player. He's just overshadowed by Rome Odunze, but Jalen Polk's great. But the next receiver on this list is my favorite receiver on this class, besides Marvin Harrison Jr. and Malik Neighbors. Those two guys are on another level. But Xavier Legette of South Carolina, I have his ceiling as A.J. Brown. I love this dude. He's huge. He's explosive off the line. He can turn just a simple slant to a 50-yard play. And I think he could have the biggest rise post-combine out of any player in this draft, with a showing on the 40, showing with some hands, bench press record. He could be a combine hero like DK Metcalf, guy like that. I have him mocked as a late first-round guy, but I see other people have him mocked in the third or mid-second. I believe he's going to end up becoming a top guy in this class. But enough glazing on him. Got Roman Wilson out of Michigan, and I have his ceiling as a Devontae Smith. He's short and slim, but he makes up for it with great hands and route running. He has injury concerns, obviously, because he's short and slim, and just like Devontae Smith. That's why his draft stock was lower than most, especially after being a Heisman winner as a receiver. He didn't have much draft hype, just like Roman Wilson. I would say they're the exact same player, except without a Heisman. But that was like the weakest Heisman class ever, but it doesn't mean into it. But next we got tight ends. I've got Eric All out of Iowa. When I was looking at the list of tight ends, because you have Brock Bowers, and I don't really need to get Brock Bowers because it's Brock Bowers. He's a generational tight end talent, just like Pitts or Kyle Pitts. Same guy, basically elite talent. Gronk, I see Gronk written all over him. But Eric All out of Iowa, I have his ceiling as a Cole Kmet. He's a red zone weapon. He's not fast. He's got solid hands. And I only have him listed on here because it's Iowa. He goes to Iowa. And the track record with Iowa tight ends is elite. Got George Kittle. You got Noah Fant. I mean, you got Laporta. And like so many more guys. And that's tight end you. Why would I not put a tight end out of Iowa on this list of guys to look out for? But the other tight end I'm pretty high on is Jatavion Sanders out of Texas. I have him as a ceiling as a Darren Waller. He's a big dude, decent hands. He can turn up field, make a couple guys miss. His stock could rise into a potential first round pick if he has a DK Metcalf type performance at the combine, where he just shows out with his speed, or with his strength and with his hands. He could be just like an insane prospect, just like Brock Bowers, but he doesn't have the hype. And then going into the offensive line, I don't have ceilings for these guys because that's hard to put a ceiling on offensive lineman, I would say, because they're all very similar players. It's just if you're good or you're bad. But I've got Jordan Morgan out of Arizona. He's stout. He's got big legs. He's impossible to beat off of first step. And his draft stock's not high because in Arizona they weren't a very heavy run system. The film I watched, I might have saw like 4 run plays out of like a sample of 50. But I would like to see how his bench press numbers are and his other run blocking drills and stuff to see like exactly what he could do in the NFL system where it's more balance of a run pass. And so the next guy I got Cedric Van Pran out of Georgia. He's a center, and this dude's nasty. This dude's so nasty. He holds his own on pass sets, which that's all you need from a center. And he could elevate to a first round pick if he puts on a show in the combine with bench press, just like the rest of these guys. He's nasty. I like the way he plays. He's got a great cut block. He's got great first steps on a run play. And then I did not see him get beat once on pass protection. I mean, he didn't blow me away in pass protection, but he didn't get beat. So, like, you don't have to blow me away. And then the next guy, I got Patrick Paul out of Houston. He's a tackle. He's great size. I don't see him. He's not very great at run. And I noticed that he got beat very easily off of swim moves, which that could be scary. He could be elevated to an early day 2 pick. But his size is like the best, I would say, out of this class for tackles. Like if he could test well and become a first round pick. That's how big he is. And late first round picks, they could just draft just off the straight size and potential for a tackle. And just be a project guy behind a more established guy. Like I could see the 49ers taking a chance on a guy like him. Just to learn under Trent Williams' eyes. The same size, practically they look the same. And that could be a great mentor for a guy like him. But after that, last offensive lineman, another tackle, I got Troy Fontenot out of Washington. And this dude has insane hand placement. I loved his hand placement in the tape I watched. I saw him snap dudes' hands down, and they just fall flat on their face. And it was just funny to watch. This could be the biggest riser in the draft. I know I said that already, but this is my favorite tackle out of this list. Just straight off the hand placement alone. And once I saw him snap dudes down just off of his swatting hands, I was like, dude, I'm in love with just going into edges. We got the first edge, Chris Braswell at Alabama. I was seeing this dude could be the biggest steal of the draft. And I watched this tape and I was not impressed. I have a ceiling of Trey Hendrickson. His run pick impact was poor. I saw him get beat every run play. He got pancaked a couple of times, and I was like, dude, what are you talking about? And then I saw on some pass plays, he has a great club. He's got a great club pass rush, and he's got a deep bag of pass rusher moves like most dudes. But as of now, I can see him just as a situational player on third downs, just to get another pass rusher in there. And so, yeah, that's why I have him as Trey Hendrickson. That's what he was in New Orleans. He's developed a lot better in the run game. But in New Orleans, he was just a situational edge on third and longs. And then we got Braylon Trice out of Washington. And I have his ceiling as Kayvon Thibodeau. He's a big dude. He's got a quick first step, great spin move, and he can just overpower dudes with his strength. I saw him with one hand, just maul this tackle straight to the quarterback, get the sack. I was really impressed with him.
All right, what's up, guys? This is my third time recording this part of the video. I'm getting really frustrated. It is 1:45 a.m. March the 1st when I'm recording this part. I wanted to get this video out Wednesday. Had technical difficulties on that. Having technical difficulties today. Obviously, this is my third time trying to just record this last part. Trying to be a little bit quiet because my parents are sleeping. It's 1:45 a.m. But I just wanted to get this done because I'm really proud of this. I put a lot of time in this, and I just want to get it out. So the last part. So my first recording, it got cut off halfway through the Darius Robinson preview, and so I deleted the original Darius Robinson stuff. So we're gonna be talking about Darius Robinson, an edge out of Missouri. I have a ceiling set as Cameron Jordan. He has a deep bag of pass rush moves, and he fits hard on runs and disrupts every play. I mean, I wasn't familiar with this guy's game, but like I'm impressed. I saw him already get shot up on draft boards. He tested well at the combine today. Um, but anyways, he has a chance to fill up and become a Pro Bowl guy with his frame. But anyways, onto the DBs. I got Kamari Lassiter at Georgia, and I have a ceiling as a Marshawn Lattimore type guy. He doesn't get beat often, but he has great ball skills. If he does get beat, he can knock down passes. Got a great vertical. Um, Next DB, I've got Caitlin King, Penn State, at the corner. His ceiling is Delonte Taylor. He's a versatile guy. He could play boundary, he could play the slot, he could play the safety, and he has a knack of making plays at the line of scrimmage. Could be used as a blitzing back. Um, I like how he tackles in the middle of the field. But anyway, and then last defensive back got safety Tyler Newman out of Minnesota. I have a ceiling as Jamal Adams. He's got an elite IQ. He's fast and strong when he blitzes, and he fits well and runs. He's a great second defensive on receivers, like what you need for a safety. He's got great ball skills on that. I'm in love with this guy. I don't really watch safeties that much, like safety film, but when I watched this film, I was really impressed. Like super athletic. He's huge. I don't want to glaze him too much, but like I'm in love with this dude. He's gonna be a first round guy. I think he might be the best defender in this class, if I'm being honest. But anyway, that's it for the draft prospects. Um, I just want to combine a little bit of what I was planning on doing on Friday. There's nothing much going on this week in sports besides the combine. But this weekend we have some WWE Friday Night SmackDown. Saturday there's UFC Fight Night and AEW Revolution. AEW Revolution should be a great show. Even though pay-per-view is $50. I don't know about that, but it's Sting's last match, so I'm probably gonna watch it. And the UFC Fight Night I was talking about earlier on Monday's show. And then next week it should be start of conference tournaments and college basketball, so that's just fun. But anyway, I hope y'all have a great sales weekend. Y'all be safe, and God bless.